DreAllDay.com.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, we're not done. You get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves all of us, especially yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into one package, one framework with a bunch of frameworks underneath it, a philosophy. We've written several books on this subject, and you are listening to the daily masterclass that is called, let's all say it together, Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is you are not that important to other people. Not as important as you think you are to other people. Now, before I get into explaining where this topic is coming from and going to our points as usual, let me tell you that I have a text message line where I want you to text me and tell me the most valuable insight you gleaned from today's masterclass. My number is 305-384-6894. Tell me what you're going to think differently, how you're going to think differently, what you're going to do differently, what idea might have been planted in your mind that you never thought about before, an idea that was refreshed in your mind that you did think about before, but you had stopped thinking about it for a while, but now you're thinking about it again because I brought it up. Send me a text and tell me what that is. And once you have texted me, not only will you be able to engage with me directly there because I spend time every day replying to my texts, you will also be receiving my daily motivation text message, which I send out every morning to everyone who's in my texting community. So again, my number, 305-384-6894. Number also down below in the show description. Now this topic, you are not that important to other people. Social media and the selfie camera, which has spawned the selfie life, we'll just call it that, selfie life, that we are holding up this device that we have on us all the time and holding up to ourselves to look at ourselves. We subconsciously get into the frame of mind that everything that is going on must be about us. Each one of us is thinking like this. Each person thinks everything's about them. So we already know we're lying because nobody else thinks it's all about you. I don't think it's all about you. You don't think it's all about me, but we both think it's all about ourselves individually. And the selfie camera, selfie life, the selfie, and not even the selfie generation, because even if you're not from whatever generation you think is a selfie generation, you take selfies on your own phone. So we're all part of the selfie generation. Anyone who's alive right now with a smartphone has made narcissists out of all of us to the point that we all tend to attribute other people's thoughts, words, and actions to ourselves much more than is actually true. We think what another person is thinking has to be about us. We think what another person is saying must be about us. We think what somebody else did must have something to do with us, when most of the time, just like you, other people are not thinking about you at all. So today, what I'm going to do is help slow the spread of this narcissism of everybody thinking that everything must be about them. And this one will take less than 2 weeks, and you don't have to wear a mask, nor will there be any vaccine mandates. So let's get into it. You are not that important to other people. Point number one, from a website called yourbiasis.com. And I love this website, by the way. If you haven't seen this website, I suggest you go check it out while you're listening to this. Again, it's called yourbiasis.com. yourbiasis.com, where it lays out a bunch of logical biases that human beings have, mental biases that we have. There's another one called yourfallacyis.com, where they lay out a bunch of logical fallacies that people have. You can just click on one. It explains what the fallacy is. Then it gives a little bit more explanation. Then it gives an example so you can learn what logical fallacies you may be repeating in your mind over and over again. I've heard them my entire life. I hear people using logical fallacies all the time. And often when you point them out to people, they actually get upset that you're pointing out their fallacies. But if you understand what they are, then it'll help you be a much more clearer and a much better critical thinker, which we talked about in episodes 1826 and 1827. The world would be a better place if everybody understood their mental biases and logical fallacies that they use habitually over and over again. Again, yourbiasis and yourfallacyis.com. Check those websites out. But anyway, point number one from this website, yourbiasis.com, quote, "The spotlight effect is a cognitive bias in which you overestimate how much people notice how you look and act," close quote. That is called the spotlight effect. And the spotlight effect is any of us thinking that everything we do has everybody else's attention, when it usually does not. Now, here's what I'll say. I'm out of the definition. That part wasn't the definition either. I will tell you that yes, you should carry and prepare yourself as if everybody is watching. Get ready for your performance as if the whole world is going to be watching, even though there's only going to be 10 people in the room. Carry yourself as if every camera in the world is on you and is going to be on the front page of every newspaper, even though nobody even knows that you're outside right now. Carry and prepare yourself as if the whole world's watching. But think and humble yourself to the truth that most likely nobody gives a damn. All right, I want you to hold both of those ideas in your mind at the same time. They are in complete contradiction to each other, and a wise person can hold two contradicting ideas in your mind at the same time. A critical thinker can do it as well. Now, anybody less than that can't do it, but I am estimating that my audience is smart enough to do so. Just as much as 99% of what you do is about you and your business and your affairs, everybody else is the exact same way. 99% of what they do is about them, their business, and what they have going on, which you have no idea what it is. You are not privy to and never will be. We human beings are, each one of us, we are very much alike at our cores. We're about 99% the same as human beings. The 1% difference between us is what causes difference in how we look and how we walk and talk and our thoughts, opinions, ideas. Only 1%. The other 99% of us, we are exactly the same. We human beings, being so much alike, it's our egos that make us think, each one of us, to make each one of us think that we are so different from everybody else in the room or everybody else in the city or everybody else in the world. But honestly, we're not. Now again, carry yourself and prepare yourself as if you are way different from everybody else, but think and humble yourself to the fact that you're actually not that much different, and other people are not looking at you as some spectacular different individual, because guess what? They're thinking the exact same thing that you're thinking. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is you are not that important to other people. Number 2, most people are much more concerned about themselves than they are about you. Now, again, depending on your level of maturity, if you ever really considered this topic, maybe you thought about this before, maybe you already understand it, maybe it doesn't bother you. There's some people who listen to this right now, though it might bother you to understand that people don't really think about you as much as you think they do. I want you to remember, keep this in mind at all times. We are, each one of us, we are the main characters in the stories of our own lives. And everybody else that we come across, I'm talking your significant other, your kids, your parents, your best friends, your co-workers, your employees, your bosses, your audience members, the people who buy stuff from you. Listen, each one of them is the main character in their own life. You are not that significant to other people. You are nothing but a role player in everybody else's life. All right? You are not the star in anyone's life except yours. Despite your quote-unquote instincts that other people might be doing or thinking or talking about you, understand, other people are not sitting around plotting against, thinking about, or talking about you. You know why? Because they are the main characters in their lives. They don't have time to focus on you. They're focusing on them, what they have going on. Even if what you think they have going on is not as exciting as what you're doing, well, that's the same way they think about their lives compared to you. The only world that revolves around you, is you. The only world that revolves around you is your world. Let me say that right. Everybody else is in their own world. All right, so this is what I tell salespeople. This is why I tell salespeople, if you want to sell stuff, you got to interrupt people to get their attention, because they're not sitting around waiting on you. You're a salesperson. You have something to sell right now. Nobody is sitting around saying, damn, I wonder what Dre is going to have for sale next. I wonder when he's going to hit me up and tell me about what his next thing is. Now, you might feel that way because you get people reaching out to you, but they only reached out to you when they interrupted their own story, where they're the star for long enough to give you a little bit of attention. And as soon as they're done with that little bit of attention, they go right back to paying attention to what they care about most, which is not you. It is themselves. So the more attention that you get from the outside world, the more you may be indoctrinated into believing, fooling yourself into believing that so many people are just thinking about you all the time. Nobody is thinking about you all the time except you. Nobody else. Not even your own kids. You got a 2-year-old. That 2-year-old is more focused on their own world than they are you. Now, you're a part of their world, but they're more focused on their experience of the world than your experience of the world. You are not that significant to other people. Even if you instinctively think other people are talking about you, or you're sure they're talking about you, or you have proof because you see the screenshots and the text messages and the at replies and the DMs and the inbox that shows all these people reaching out to and talking about you. Understand, even when people are reaching out to and talking about and mentioning you, it's only because it's in reference to how it applies to them. It's not really about you. So I'll say for the fourth time, you are not that significant to other people. You are the only person whose world revolves around you. Everybody else is living in their own world. So you salespeople out there, back to this point, in order to get people's attention and sell things to them, you must interrupt them because they are not sitting around waiting on or thinking about you. They are doing their thing in their own mind and in their own world, which has absolutely nothing to do with you. So if you want to sell something to people, you must interrupt their normal pattern of thinking, which does not involve you, and insert yourself into their pattern of thinking. Hopefully with something that has something to do with them, not just about you, because they won't pay that much attention to a story that ain't about them. And neither will you. All right, nobody's sitting around waiting on your call. All right, they're thinking about themselves. Now, if you happen to call, they'll answer, and you get enough time that you could possibly get their attention to make it about them. But nobody's sitting around waiting on you to talk about you. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is you are not that important to other people. Number 3, handle your business based on what you want and what you need to do, not on what you think other people might think, since they're probably not thinking about you anyway, which we just went over. Let me say that again. The things that you do in your life, do not base them on what you think other people might think or say or feel about you. Don't base your decisions on that. You know why? Because no matter what you think other people think, feel, or say about you, will think, feel, or say about you, you're already wrong, because most people are not thinking, feeling, or saying anything about you because they are focused on themselves. Again, how much time do you spend every day thinking and talking about other people? One specific other person. How much time do you spend doing that? And even if you are talking about another person, maybe it's part of your job, maybe it's part of what you do for a living, but why are you doing it? You're not doing it for them, you're doing it for yourself. They just happen to be the subject that particular day. You understand how this works? You are not that significant to other people. At the end of your life, when it's all over, I mean that everything's over, the only person who's going to be there is you and maybe enough people you can count on one hand who really gives a fuck about you. I'm going to say that again. At the end of your life, when it's about to be all over, the only people going to be there is you and maybe enough people to count on one hand who really care about you. Everybody else is just an accessory to your life. They're just accessories. And you are an accessory to almost everybody else you come across. I mean, how many people, when it's the end of their life, you're going to be right there with them? How many hands you need to count? Probably only one. This is a cold, hard truth, but it will help you when you internalize it and you realize that other people, even though somebody else might have said something about you and you have proof, you got the video link right there, you got the at reply or the DM or the email right there, or the text message right there, or the missed call right there on your phone, and somebody else was saying something about you or reaching out to you or trying to get in touch with you, I believe you. But understand, the only reason they reached out to you is because it has something to do with them. It's not about you. It might be about you, so to speak, but it's really about them. There's not that many people who are really thinking or sitting around thinking about you, plotting on you, talking about you, having feelings about you other than yourself. That's pretty much it. You're an army of one that is focused on you. It's a cold, harsh truth, but the better you are able to internalize this, the better you'll be able to focus on doing what you need to do, because you will no longer be preoccupied or concerned with what you think everybody else is thinking about you, because I just made it clear to you that they're not thinking about you at all. Again, how much time do you spend thinking about anybody else? Let's recap today's class. You are not that important to other people. Social media and the selfie camera have made narcissists out of all of us, to the point that we attribute much of what everybody else is doing or what we think they're doing to us when it ain't about us at all. So today, Let's slow that spread. Number one, from yourbiasis.com, quote, the spotlight effect is a cognitive bias in which you overestimate how much people notice how you look and act, close quote. Listen, carry and prepare yourself as if the whole world is watching, but think and humble yourself to the truth that most likely nobody's watching and nobody gives a damn. 99% of what you do is about you. 99% of what everybody else does is about them. It's only our egos that make us think that everybody else is thinking about us. Nobody is thinking about you. Everybody's thinking about number one, which is the person in the mirror. Point number two, most people are much more concerned about themselves than they are about you. Remember that you're the main character in your life. Everyone else is the main character in their own lives. Print this on your forehead. You are not that significant to other people. Despite what you think other people might be thinking or feeling or saying about you, most of the time, nobody is sitting around plotting against, thinking about, or talking about you. Why? Because we all got our own business to handle, and each of us is in the business of being ourselves and living our own lives. Everybody is in their own world. This is why I tell salespeople, if you want to sell something, you can't sit around and hope that the customers find you. You must go interrupt them because they are all in their own world thinking about themselves. None of your potential customers are sitting around thinking about when is Mike going to reach out to me and sell me something. No, you have to reach out to them and interrupt them from their own story, which is not about you at all. You're not even in the story. Point number three, handle your business based on what you want and what you need, not on what you think other people may want or what other people may think, because other people are not thinking about you at all. If you are basing your decisions on what other people might think or say about you, you are already committing a logical fallacy, because other people are not thinking or speaking about you anyway, and they never will, no matter what you do. It'll just be you there at the end of everything. It'll just be you there at the end. And maybe enough people to count on one hand who really gives a fuck about you. Are the people on social media leaving comments, or somebody replying you, or a bunch of people who are talking bad about you on some platform, or whoever you think is talking about you or thinking about you and is causing you stress and anxiety. Understand that they don't really give a fuck about you, and you need to stop giving your resources, specifically your time, attention, and focus, to anything other than what is going to pay you back. None of those things are going to pay you back. If it was all over, would any of those people be in the room? Absolutely not, because they are focused on their own story. If it was over for them, would you be in the room? No, you wouldn't. So focus on what matters most, which is yourself, and the few people, which you can count on one hand, who really gives a fuck about you, who you are really significant to them. You can count them on a hand. It is not everybody. It is not all the people in your inbox or your DMs or your call logs. It is only a few. And the most important one is yourself. And just as everybody else, they are the most important ones to themselves. Stop thinking that it is all about you. It is not. Only in your world. Send me a text. Tell me the most valuable insight you got from today's class. My number is 305-384-6894. And if you are looking for someone who can help coach you, help guide you, personally and professionally, from where you are right now to where you actually want to be, for accountability, for building your brand, building your business, getting your mind in the right space, building that mental toughness, being disciplined, following through, doing all the things you know you need to do, but for whatever reason you haven't been getting them done, or maybe you're not even sure what to do, then you may be a good candidate for my 3rd-day mastermind. It is the only place that I offer one-on-one coaching. There's only one way to get into that mastermind. You must get on a Zoom call with me where we talk about where you're at, where you want to go, and we assess, would I be a good person to help you get there? If you are interested in that, you can hop on a Zoom call with me by going to workonyourgameuniversity.com. So go to workonyourgameuniversity.com, click on the button that says join the mastermind, fill out a quick form, we'll schedule a Zoom call, and then we'll talk about what we need to talk about from there. Work on your game. Dre all day.